Well, many thanks for having us along here this morning, Ian. It's been great fun. And how was 2021 for you? Pretty good year on the flat?
Yeah, 2021's been a great year on the flat. We were fortunate enough to have a winner at Royal Ascot with Rishun, which went down very well. I think you might have been there celebrating as well, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
That was a great day out, but the horses have run really well. We've had some 2-year-olds this time, which is the first season we've really got stuck into the 2-year-olds, and we were very lucky to have one for the gutter who won his maiden nicely and then was placed in a Group 3 in France. And yeah, it's been a good season for us. We've had better, but we could have had a lot worse.
And you're targeting Dubai in a big way this year, 5 horses potentially coming over.
Yeah, well, we always like Dubai. We've had some great success there in the past, and it's always fun for the owners to come over. And the prize money's good, and the racing's good, and it's a fun place to be in January, February. So we hope to get out there and maybe stay for a little while longer.
Oh, it'd be great to have you. Of course, fond memories of winning there with Sir Max a few years ago.
Absolutely, although I never got out there on the days that he won. But we look forward to being out there a few times this year, and hopefully we've got some quality horses to bring over, so hopefully they'll be able to pick up some spoils as well.
And you've got Cap Francais coming over, who he kind of knows his way around at Maidangs. He was out there last year.
Yeah, he was out there with Ed Walker last year and ran very respectably in a couple of his starts. He came back from there with a small injury, and that when he went to the sales, that was what really interested me with him, because I thought we could get over the injury. And he'd had a break all summer, so he'll be going out to Dubai. He'll have run on Boxing Day in England, and he'll come out a relatively fresh horse. And having been prepared just for Dubai, so he should get there in tip-top condition and very fresh, so we're looking forward to him a lot.
And what sort of races are you going to look at for him, kind of the 10 furlong turf?
Yeah, we'll stick. We ran him over a mile on the all-weather just to see if he was going to be effective for the mile, and he's probably just, in our view, not got enough pace for a mile, so we'll be sticking to the mile and 1 and the mile and 2 races.
And he's for a kind of a new partnership of existing clients?
Yeah, he's a partnership of 2 guys that you'd know very well in Dubai, or actually not 2 guys that you'd know very well in Dubai. Hikesh Palmer, who's always been very fond of his Dubai racing, is very involved out with you guys. 2 new clients to Dubai, Spencer Coombs and Scott Parker, and Alan Dale, who lives in Dubai most of the year, and he's had horses out there before with one of the South African trainers. So yeah, a good team, and they'll enjoy themselves, and they're all looking forward to spending time out in Dubai.
And they also have Highland Dress, who has got a nice dirt pedigree. He's
got a great dirt pedigree, and it was with that in mind. I think the dirt races can sometimes be slightly less competitive than the turf races, and he's run once for us and performed very well. We were very happy with that race, and he'll arrive in Dubai again, having had a break. He spent some time in the paddock during the summer, and he'll arrive out there a fresh horse, so be ready for some racing.
Yeah, was he one, presumably when you all bought him, it was partly because of that pedigree, the Shamadar?
Totally because of the pedigree, and totally with Dubai in mind. What was nice was to be able to give him a break, so he had the summer out at grass, and we brought him back in and basically got him ready just for Dubai. So it's not an afterthought, it's something that we've prepared him and Cap Francais to do. So you know, they would be the 2 horses that would be very hopeful of coming out to Dubai.
And speaking of preparing them for Dubai, you did something quite amazing and bought some special lights for Australia initially, but you've also used them for the Dubai horses. Yeah,
we bought some lights that keep the season, basically the summer-autumn season, going a little bit longer, so it just helps the horses not to think it's winter, keeps their coats a little bit better, and helps them with all the sunlight they're going to get in Dubai. So we did that for Australia 4 or 5 years ago, and we sent Magic Circle out, and they're still here in the barn, so that's where they're all housed up at the moment.
It's a great idea. And back to the horses, East Asia, I love this horse. He's a small little thing, I realised, but he came from Dubai, having not managed to win over there for Sayed, and you've won 4 races with him.
Yeah, he managed to do really well, and the interesting thing was, the first day he won, I didn't have any confidence at all, and the ground had gone a little bit on the slow side, and he won, and won very convincingly, and the handicapper put him up £12, I think, and I rang him up and I said, this is ridiculous, he's a small horse, he's only achieved this. Anyway, he bolted up the next time, so I had to ring the handicapper back up and say, look, I do apologise, I obviously got this wrong. But he's done very well, and he too had a break at the beginning of the autumn. He came back and ran in a couple of very competitive races, but he'll go out a relatively fresh horse as well. But it's quite fascinating to have a horse that was in Dubai to be bringing him back as an invited horse from the UK. So that should be fun, and I'm sure Saeed will really enjoy that.
Yeah, and Saeed's been a great addition to the yard. He's so enthusiastic, isn't he?
Oh, he loves his racing, and loves the racing in Dubai, but he's enjoyed his racing in the UK this year. Just with the travel implications, it's not been easy for him to come over, but hopefully we'll make it to Royal Ascot with him next year at some stage, and he can come and enjoy the fun.
That'd be amazing. And then the other two came from France, starting with Enemy, who was in England, and then went over to France of Cap.
Yeah, Enemy was a horse that was in training with John Gosden initially, and then went over to France and did quite well for Francois Graffard, I think it was. We've been delighted with him since he came over, and he's not been over raced, and he looks to have a good bit of ability as well. He might just go on the dirt as well, but there's a little programme for him on the turf, and I think he's a horse who still might just improve a little. He's a very striking individual. We like him a lot, and we'll look forward to him being out there.
Exciting. And the other one had another one that came from Arcana.
Yeah, he was actually quite a cheap purchase, and we didn't have, although he was rated highly enough to come out to Dubai, we didn't really have that in mind, but he started working, and we've been very, very impressed with his work. And again, he's not been over raced in France this year, and he seems very sound, so we've put him on the list, and it's quite likely that he'll travel with the other four.
I'm really looking forward to that. And the plans are that they will travel on the 5th, and you might look to run a couple on the 13th.
Yeah, we've got some plans laid out, but they'll travel over on the 5th, and depending on how they fly, hopefully we'll start having runners on the 13th. Exciting.
And I can't ignore the very successful jump side of the business. Any Cheltenham Festival winners that you think you might have in 2022?
It's Cheltenham's always tough, but would like to think that this fella, this is Rebelli. He'll have run at Kempton over Christmas. He's progressing in the right way. He's a novice hurdler, and a horse that we had win at Ascot recently, Party Business. He surprised us that day, and if he carries on surprising us, he might be good enough to go to Cheltenham as well. So options would be nice. It's always nice to spend a bit of time in Dubai and make sure that you've got something to do when you're back home. So Cheltenham would be lovely.
Speaking of winners in different places, you're going to have a crack at St Moritz this year?
Yeah, we've got Old Restorers going to go out to St Moritz. We had a journey out there a few years ago. I'm not sure about the complications of COVID at the moment, but if we can work through those and get him out there, we gave him a break, and we've given him some time to get ready for this race, and it's something that I had in my mind from the summer. So it will be good fun, and it's an option that we'd like to take up, but it will depend on what happens with COVID.
So you've had runners Australia, UAE, obviously France, St Moritz. You're getting through the countries.
Yeah, we haven't done America, which would be nice, but I don't know enough about it. But if we get something that's good enough on the dirt, we might have a look one day. Maybe one for the gutter will progress on nicely next season, and who knows where we might end up with him.